Hello everyone and welcome to the kit analysis from Mabayu Aki. I briefly talked about her kit after she was revealed in the Japanese livestream, but I will get into more details now that her kit is available in English. She is a light element buffer kioku. She can buff the whole team but she will mostly buff a single ally. Her stats are similar to other buffers, so a pretty average attack, defense, and HP, and a really high speed. But unlike most buffers, she has absolutely no speed increase in her kit, so she's actually one of the slowest. Her skill is the most important part of her kit. Not only does it have a massive attack buff of 50%, it will apply a unique buff called cutaway to an ally. To put it simply, the character with cutaway will get 2 turns. As soon as her turn ends, she will immediately get 100% action advance, allowing her to immediately get another turn. Getting more turn in a turn-based game is basically the best thing you can get, that's why every character that can give action advance is really good. By reading this effect you might be tempted to think that she's just a better version of Hazuki, but not exactly. Hazuki immediately give 100% action advance to the character of your choice, while Mabayu's advance will only activate once the character with cutaway finishes her turn, so you will always get the full value of the action advance. Cutaway will also remove 2 debuffs from your character when it activates. Debuff removal is generally less useful than ailment removal, but this is still good to have for some bosses, even if you can only use it on one ally at a time. Her special attack will deal damage to a single target and give a damage buff to your team, as well as another damage buff, but only when you deal damage with an elemental advantage. She also gives another 20% elemental advantage increase with her ability, so you ideally want to pair her with a damage dealer with elemental advantage to take full advantage of her kit. Her ability will also advance her at the start of the battle, but she doesn't gain much from acting before the enemies, and she will already act before most of your team thanks to her speed. The action advance on her basic attack is good, however, you will use a lot of skill points since the character with cutaway will use her skill twice in a row in most cases, so this will help her in case you need to use a basic attack when you're short on skill points. Her support ability gives speed and action advance, which is everything a buffer need, so you can equip her to all your buffers if she's not on the team. It is slightly less value on buffers who use their skills almost every turn like Moemura, but it will still be useful in case you run out of skill points. All her ascensions are really good. The first one is her worst, but it's still pretty decent, and her A2 and A4 are really good. For portrait and support kioku, you want to equip her with as much speed as possible like most buffers. And for team building you can slot her in any team you want, but you ideally want a damage dealer with an elemental advantage against whatever you're facing to take full advantage of her buffs. If we compare her to some of our other buffers we can see that her total damage increase without elemental advantage is similar. Mami and Hazuki have a lower attack buff but make up for it with a higher damage increase. However, as soon as you take her elemental advantage buff into account she outclass them easily, and on top of that, cutaway will almost double the damage output of your damage dealer by itself. It's a bit more complicated than that since it doesn't account for the special attack, and the action advance of the others, while not as optimal will still yield an increase in damage overall. But the biggest problem of Mabayu is her lack of defensive utility compared to other action advance buffers. Using cutaway on your sustain can be useful sometimes, but it doesn't come close of Hazuki's ability to pull your sustain almost whenever you want, and the team-wide action advance of Mami and Moemura have enough action advance to allow more frequent healing and shielding. Her speed is relatively low if only compared to the characters shown previously, but it's almost the same as supports like Tsuruno or Ren, so she's more than fast enough to do her job efficiently. With all that said, should you summon for Mabayu? If you don't care about the fact that she isn't limited, and you are not waiting for a specific character, then yes, she is stupidly good, and her cons are negligible in my opinion. Obviously don't risk it if you don't have enough gems to reach pity, and if you already have either Mami and Moemura, the 2 best support in the game, skipping her won't hurt as much. Mami will soon reach the standard pool, so if you have saved some keys you might get lucky enough to get her. That's it for this video. As always I recommend to wait for players' feedback before summoning in case I misjudged her performances, and if you summoned you can tell what you think about her in the comments. Goodbye and see you soon.